Hey everybody, Epictetus here with another video tutorial for all my gamers, streamers, content creators out there. We're going to talk as fast as possible about how to make thumbnails for our YouTube videos when we do a game capture, okay? I know I'm using Photoshop and it's the big conglomerate, all that, but 20 bucks a month for what the tools give you, I feel like is super necessary for me versus all the free stuff and all the other things, all right? So we're going to create a new project. Here's the dimensions that you're going to need. Go ahead and slap a name in there, anything you want for whatever you call your thumbnail. I changed my dimension to pixels, and from what I've heard out there, this is the best resolution to use. We're going to go ahead and do 1920, and we're going to put that over 1080 for the height. And then you don't have to change anything else. As long as these are all the base configurations, which I feel like mine are, should be good to go. All right. Got a new project with the right dimensions slapped in. Next thing we need to do is to go into our game project or our game capture and find a screenshot to use. So this is my video recording from iMovie of Division 2. And what I'm trying to do here is take a screenshot. So on Mac, that's Command, Shift, and 9 or 4. And you go ahead and drag, click that section, and unfortunately I don't have it here. I apologize, but that screenshot pops up in on your desktop. If you're on Mac, you know what I'm talking about. That screen pop. So drag it in, and I did do some video editing here. I had a clip that I didn't like, so you're gonna see me delete that here. You can just drag that to the garbage can, and then the clip remaining is the clip that I want to use for the thumbnail. All right. So if you do Command Shift T, this puts us into transform mode in Photoshop, and that allows you to drag these to the outer corners. And now I am holding down Shift. If you just hold down the corner, it doesn't do things in proportion. I couldn't hold down Shift, drag this to the corner, so I'm filling up the full resolution of our image size that we needed before. And now we have the picture that we want to use, and what we're going to start doing is adding some text. So we're going to click the text tool, type whatever you want. You know, this is going to be my dope YouTube thumbnail. Sorry, I apologize. My super dope YouTube thumbnail. And then once we have the text in place, we're going to start getting things done. Now we're going to move some of this stuff around and get it centered with the snap lines from Photoshop. Get everything just kind of lined up the way I feel like it looks good. You do the same thing. It doesn't have to be centered, doesn't have to be uniform. Just kind of let your brain flow and whatever looks good to you. My OCD from bartending makes me like things in the middle. See, now that's the wrong way to switch text. What you want to do is come over here and you can click on the text property and move your mouse left or right. If you hold down your mouse button, you can move stuff up or down in size. And what I did once I found a size I like, I'm just copy and pasting to each layer, because each piece of text here, each line of text I have on a different layer. Just makes them easier to move for me in this circumstance. And I'm just copy and pasting into the properties box. And once we get everything kind of centered, get everything the same size so it's taking up the amount of space, move this one, line these up again, center. Snap lines are sick. I love those. And now we're going to change color by clicking on that color box. And I'm just going to switch these to white for now so they're easier to see on the screen. And then same thing. Just clicking on each one. I've got a swatch up there, up on the colors. So if you see I click and I go up and the dabber comes up, and you're just clicking the same color in the swatch. That way you get color consistency without having to find them in the spectrum. See, I'm moving up top, clicking different colors there. And now we got the colors set. Now we're going to go to Effects. Stroke is what I like to do for some of these. And we're going to put it on the outside, and that looks good to go. Next thing we're going to look at, cool trick here. Once you have the effects on one layer, you can hold down Alt and Option, I guess, on the keyboard for Macs, and drag to the other layers, and it'll copy that same effect, so you don't have to go change your settings. Now I have my stroke on all the text pieces there. Kind of recenter them. Look at how that looks once it's got the stroke on there. Again, my OCD kicking in. I just like seeing snap lines. And we're good to go on that stuff. That looks good here. Moving forward, let's go ahead and do the selection tool now. I have to pick the outline of the character because I want him to pop a little bit. And we're going to use the quick selection tool. And if you hold down with your mouse button, you can kind of push out and find your layer. The opposite being when it selects too much, because you're going to see that I kind of have some trouble where some of these lines don't line up on the outside of the character. You can go on the outside of the lines and hold down Shift and come back and push the lines in. So I'm holding down the mouse button and just moving the cursor to push out on these. And then if I go too far, like on the edge of that gun, I'm holding down Shift and pushing back in, and that tightens up the lines. And we can go ahead and get everything selected here. And just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and apply the same stroke to the character so that you can see a couple of effects added. Obviously, for your thumbnails, you're going to play around on your own, do some graphic changes if you need to do some Photoshop lessons, but you can see I'm going to right click. I'm going to make a new layer by picking on the outside. That makes a new layer for the outline, and you're always going to want to do that. Just like my text, each piece of text was a new layer, this outline of the character is going to be a new layer. And we're going to pick the color, and this is just making the stroke. And we're going to do the width. It's still the same setting we did in the text, just a different looking box, but now we've made that stroke 3 pixels, and we're going to add a second stroke to make it black and white. Same stroke like we did on the text. Make that a couple pixels. Try to keep it simple here just so you guys can get the gist of it. There's so many YouTube tutorials out there. Just go ahead, get your Photoshop game up. Just spend some time with it. I would say probably 2-3 hours figuring out how to do this text and how to do this stroke. And then once you have some of those tools in your tool belt, you can modify it from there. But these thumbnails are pretty simple. And a couple of these strokes, what's it taking us here? 6-7 minutes to do this. Exporting. Okay, we're going to export as a JPEG. That way we can upload it to YouTube, because otherwise Photoshop saves it as a Photoshop file extension. I'm going to go ahead and go to my YouTube channel just so you guys can see what that looks like. We're going to go to the video editor. This isn't the thumbnail I'm going to use on the individual video I'm showing you, but I'm just going to show you the process. So selecting one video on the YouTube, edit the video. That wasn't it. Clicking on the title. And you do have to have a verified account to do custom thumbnails. You can do a Google search on how to make your account verified. Pretty simple process. Click on the file we got, custom thumbnail, save that. And now we're locked in. We're going to go back and look at the list of videos, show you the YouTube thumbnail is now applied, and that's what people will see. See how that kind of pops with the stroke there? And we're good to go. Appreciate everybody watching. If the video helped you out, go ahead and hit a like, subscribe, support the channel, and I'll keep making videos like this. Talk to everybody soon.